everyone. Thanks for tuning in. I am Annalise Armstrong, a project manager here at the Venture Center, and I'm super excited to be joined today with Tammy, who is owner and founder of The Framemaker. Hey, Tammy.
Hi.
So Tammy is one of our Spark participants, and she has been just an extreme pleasure to work with. And I have learned so much from her about frames and everything that goes into that. So super excited to talk with her more today. Tammy, when did you enter the frame making business?
So I actually started in the framing industry a little over 31 years ago. I went to work for a lady in Little Rock who had a framing business and managed her store for her for almost a year. And then I had an opportunity to purchase the business from her. And that's kind of how I got started. And my background is just a love of art from, my junior high school years and hanging out in the art department. And so art has always been something I've loved and wanted to be a part of. And I like working with my hands. So that's kind of where I got my start.
Nice. I absolutely love art. I'm like you. I am one of those that I save everything to you. So I need to come see you because I am dying to get dance was just my life growing up. And I've got point shoes that I need to come get framed, and they're beautiful. So I can't wait to come in. And I know I was telling you I was at a fundraiser not too long ago there in Benton for Birch Tree, and we bought some paintings, and I can't wait to come get those framed too. So I love art, and I think it's so cool what you're doing.
Thank you. I love it too. That's why I do it. That's because I love it.
Well, I have to ask because I'm sure you have framed probably anything you can imagine. What have been some of the most memorable pieces that you have framed over the years?
Oh gosh, yeah, I have framed all kinds of stuff. I framed lots of rock and, rock and roll memorabilia stuff, broken cymbals from, a drummer, along with band photos, things like that. You were talking about point shoes. Last year at Christmas, I did this beautiful shadow box of a young girl's, her ballet slippers from her first Nutcracker performance with the Arkansas Ballet. And so we did the program and did it so that you could, it was movable. You could see that it was the program inside, and photos of her in her mouse costume, and just, I love doing stuff like that. Oh gosh, memorable things. One of the really cool items I got to do one time was this beautiful piece of silk plaid fabric. It was a long ribbon, and it was about 4 inches wide. And the lady who brought it to me was in her 80s, and it had been hers for her cotillion when she turned 16. And it had been on her dress that her mother had handmade. Mm-hmm. And she was probably 85, 86 years old, something like that. And it was in absolute pristine condition. The colors had not faded or anything, just beautiful, vivid colors of silk. And I tied it into this big bow like it would have been on her back. And it was pretty long. So we just shadow boxed that. And she was so thrilled when she came to get that she'd had it tucked in this drawer for all these years. And then her kids would now have the picture of her in the, with this dress and then the bow to go with it. So I'm a storyteller. I get to tell these incredible stories in people's lives. I frame all kinds of art and everything, but shadow box stuff that's kind of one of the things that really gets me all excited because I love being able to share a story, for years down the road.
That's awesome. And I love that you say it's something that she can pass down to her children, grandchildren. Mm-hmm. And so it lives on. And I think that's one of the most special things about framing is it allows us to preserve and pass down history.
And the thing is, if you don't, in preserving that, it's important to work with a framer who uses the right materials, because whether you're trying to do it yourself or whether you're just, going into any frame shop, you want to make sure that they're using the right materials, because if not, you're doing more harm than good to the items, whether that's artwork on paper or canvas, or a very old document, or old family photos, or memorabilia items. I see a lot of stuff, unfortunately, that comes in that people want me to try to help them fix that hasn't been done right. And sometimes I can make it better, and sometimes the damage is irreversible.
Mm-hmm. And I will say I have sort of been guilty of not being educated on knowing how to have something properly framed. I won't say the name where I got this, but I have my great grandfather's flag from his funeral for military, and I tried to get a frame at a store and it broke. And so now I have that flag tucked away, and it's another item to come see you about. So you have been in the framing business for quite a while now, but the frame maker didn't open until recently, during a challenging time that we all know about. Tell us about what it's been like opening a business during COVID.
So my husband and I, in February of last year, January, February, we were just mulling around this idea, because I had lost my job 4 years ago managing a store here in the Benton area, a frame shop. And, people would catch me in places like, Home Depot or the grocery store, and would, give me their desperate, please help me. I've been, I need your help. Are you framing? And I was doing some stuff kind of just in my garage kind of thing on my kitchen table, and helping out someone in the wholesale side. And, but in February, we decided to go for it and try to open up a new store here in Benton. And so I was busy putting all the necessary things together to get the business started. And then in mid-March, everything began to shut down. My original goal had been to open in April, but I wound up having to push it back. I opened May 1st, and I guess if I was new in this industry, I would have just been at a loss, because I've never seen anything like what has happened over the last, 18, months or so. It has been difficult, mainly just, it was just dead. There was no one out and about for quite some time. And fortunately, I was not just so far into debt that, I've been fortunate that I've had enough coming in to pay the bills through all of that, when it was everything was shut down, and people weren't getting out. But just the logistics of getting samples and materials, our industry, like everyone else, has been hit really hard with that. Especially right now with the backup and the shipping and everything like that. So you've had to get creative. I've had to do a lot of thinking outside the box, which, because I've been in the industry long enough, I've had connections that I've been able to connect with other framers and people in the industry, so we could help each other out. And no matter what, my goal is to get whatever my customer wants, find those materials for them and make it happen. So.
Well, what do you think you have learned in these past 18 months?
Don't give up. Just keep pressing on, trying to learn different and new ways of doing things. And even just from 30 years ago or 20 years ago in the industry, the technology now has made things totally different. How you advertise is different than, what I did years ago when I was in framing. so learning that process and applying that into my business, marketing strategy, and just getting, resourceful about that as well. Trying to make connections in new and different ways than what we traditionally did, 20 or 30 years ago.
You talked about the shipping. Shipping is so challenging right now. And I see a beautiful gold frame behind you. Where all do you have to buy supplies from? I mean, how far, do you have
around the world?
Okay, that's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, and in fact, I have molding suppliers from, various parts of the country. And of course, most of them, everything is shipped out of either, it comes in on the East Coast or the West Coast. And so there's lots of stuff sitting on containers, in containers on ships right now. And manufacturers and suppliers trying to figure out how to get that stuff to us. And that's one of the reasons why samples are hard right now to come by, because they're not going to cut up the material if they get it in, because it's already sold for the most part. We're waiting for stuff for months, but I have stuff from, I have one company that has beautiful Italian imports, and then I custom do a lot of stuff. So I'll take a molding that a customer, likes the design of, but maybe the finish is a little off, or especially with some of the rustic stuff that's really popular right now, kind of that reclaimed furniture design that's been real popular, and a lot of the industrial look. And I'll tweak a molding. I'll do some hand finishing on it, or distressing, or do some, cool color stuff on things to make it unique to the artwork, or the object that we're framing. So I'm not just limited to just what it looks like on the wall as a sample.
So I imagine you are very, very busy, and these projects take quite a bit of time. How long does something take you on average?
Well, yeah, most people, because we are such a, again, throwaway society, I guess, we use something quickly and then we discard it for something else. We're used to going into a dress shop, a clothing boutique, and we just pick something off the rack and we take it home, and we don't think anything about what it took to manufacture that. And custom framing is truly one of the last remaining custom products out there that people might use on a regular basis. Most people don't go to a custom tailor or shoemaker anymore. You just don't have that. And so a lot of what gets lost in the cost of things is the amount of labor time that goes into these items. If I'm framing a piece of art on paper, that might be, an hour or two of labor time, chopping and joining the molding and cutting the glass, cutting all my mat boards and backing and fitting everything in, cleaning, putting hangers. That can be an hour or two worth of labor. But if you're talking about a shadow box, that could be anywhere from 2 to 10 hours or more. There are moments where, you're just going, I'm never going to get paid what I've got in this. So there truly is some of that. I do it because I love it, not necessarily that I'm going to get rich doing it. But yeah, some items, because if you do it right, you're not going to be using quick ways of doing stuff, like just hot gluing something down. That's a major no-no. So for instance, your point shoes you were talking about, all of those items would be stitched into place or held in using reversible methods, and that stuff takes time. When I try to post videos on my Facebook page of some of the projects I'm working on as I'm working on them, and showing me stitching through, the mat board, or using stainless steel wire, or certain, other items that we will use to hold items into place. And that helps people get a more realistic look at what it takes to do this, and why framing is not just going to, you know, a big box store and getting a, you know, frame and sticking something in it.
And then it breaks. So yeah.
Yeah. And the type of materials that I use, good quality craftsmanship, no plastics, no polystyrene moldings, only, you know, solid wood materials is what I'm all about.
Tammy is one of 8 of participants this fall in our Spark program. And so I want to dig in a little bit more about what it's like being in Spark this fall, Tammy. What do you hope to gain from Spark?
Well, I've already just really enjoyed the opportunity to learn from some of the other entrepreneurs and business startup owners, just their methods of how they're approaching things, especially how they're strategizing, you know, marketing and advertising, gaining, you know, customers and clients, as well as the different people that have been brought in various industries, like, you know, banking and sales and marketing and things like that. Just the wealth of information that I've already learned, and the challenges for each of us to, you know, to like creating the elevator pitch and other things like that. You know, I need that because I tend to be old school. So getting help with the marketing and advertising and just more of that thinking outside the box for us as new businesses. I think it's a great program and wish I'd have had it 20 or 30 years ago.
Well, I'm so glad you found us, and it's been super exciting getting to chat with you and meet with you, you know, each week. What do you think is next for the Frame Maker, or where do you hope to be, you know, maybe this time next year?
I would like to obviously have doubled my amount of business, at least, just coming out of what we've been through the last year to get into what I would consider normal business estimates of you know, clients and customer base. And I want to expand what I'm able to offer, and actually looking forward to maybe even having a bigger space to be able to carry more of the items that I want to do, branching out into the community. I really want to focus on particularly a lot of Saline County artists and Central Arkansas area artists to work with. So that's one of my goals.
Well, Tammy, I'll let you throw it out there real quick. Any information you want to share with our audience, maybe your Facebook page, where you're located, go ahead and I'll give you that little spotlight.
Okay. So we are located in historic downtown Benton in the heart of Saline County. And my store is actually located right now inside of a vintage marketplace. So there are lots of other vendors in here that have set up little stores. And so I have my frame shop in here, and it kind of gives us an opportunity to kind of help each other and network. But I am open Monday through Friday, Monday through Thursday, 10 to 5, and Friday, 10 to 4. And I work evenings and Saturdays by appointment. And you can reach me at 501-316-4113. I'm on Facebook. It is the Frame Maker AR. So if you type that in, you should see our logo. And I would love to have anyone just stop in sometime and say hello, and bring in whatever you got, and we'll just start slinging some samples out and play and have a great time and come up with some really cool stuff.
Frame away.
Yep.
Well, Tammy, it's been such a joy to spend the last 30 minutes or so with you. I have learned a lot, and I'm super excited to come visit you one of these days. Thanks for joining in, and I guess we'll chat a little later. So
Okay.
have a good day, everyone.
Thank you.